used as a tool in airports for detecting potential terrorist attacks. So also pretty interesting one, and very interesting, in particular about all doing all this different kind of communication that we have at the moment. Emotions matter. It's very easy, I guess, so it's much more easier in personal communication, offline, face-to-face, to transfer emotion from one individual to the other. But in terms of virtual communication, we have this very distant feature in between. So still it is very, very valuable and very important to transfer emotions. And this can be done by using such kind of data to see how people are able to do so, and if this information, emotion, can be transferred to the other people that you talk to. Also, automated processes. We had that in some discussions, like habit. Very interesting, definitely. Also, like cognitive overload. Like, for example, in one of the papers was mental effort, or they refer to it as mental effort. And social dynamics, like social cognition, for example. Also, and this is the very interesting part where I started to work in something that we were just measuring for ages, decades, just about measuring human behavior and what you think, do, and plan to do, just based on self-reports, also measuring such kind of information based on eye gaze data. Last but not least, also some issues like getting more important, like ethics, for example, or moral judgments. In this related to my thought about fake news, also a very interesting part where moral and ethics play and start to play an even greater and major role. So could be very important in the near future. Good. All right. So just talk about a bit to show you how all these methods are applied, starting with skin conductance. Skin conductance, is measured pretty easily. You can attach the electrodes on the head of the fingers, or just the bottom wires. So usually tasks that you have, and we have also done a study like this, is looking something like that. So an individual has the electrodes attached to his or her hand, and is doing something related to technology in the meantime. What is it? As I said, it's about it's a better electricity conductor and helps you to gather information about human sweats during such activities. And why is it interesting? It could be a measure of stress, but also arousal, excitement, for example. That could be interesting, but what is the downside of using it? Just seeing that here, like that could be this could be an experimental situation, but having such a situation like this, you see, holding your hand the entire time in this way while using the mouse or using the keyboard to do an IT-related task. Well, it's a little bit artificial. So although it isn't too long, our experiment in real sessions lasted about 10 to 20 minutes, but still I had a very subjective feeling that people were not that used to such kind of situation and having something like this. So that might affect your results. That's the downside. Already talked about electrocardiogram a little bit. That is not that expensive. Not that expensive. You can get the relevant instruments and for applying them rather easily. And also you have chances like, and this what makes the whole wearables discussion so interesting, to get such kind of an information. Still, there's a long and ongoing debate about, do really those wearable tools like Apple Watch, for example, or smartwatches like Fitbit, really capturing this data, what an electrocardiogram would do normally, in the perfect and exact way. So still, Apple, for example, or all those other providers of such tools haven't really provided scientific evidence that the data is really valid. So just to let you know that when you took two greater implications based on using such variables, there at least is a question mark. Yeah, they might provide an indication, but not necessarily being 100% accurate. So you heard about, I guess, the development of those Apple Watches, implying more and more tools and analyzing more and more body-related functions. And I would still be a little bit cautious and not just crying, yoo-hoo, that's the right way of doing so. So little question mark behind that. What you can measure based on electrocardiograms is pretty much similar to the skin conductance response as well. It's like people, you can measure arousal. People are aroused, so but also negative emotions like people are stressed or anxious or even angry. So has been applied a couple of times, for example, when it came to decision making. So having a particular decision in a business-related or IT-related context, what is this impact based on your heartbeat? This is electrocardiogram. Then I also mentioned those ones. I jumped rather quickly through that, like facial electrotomography. Measuring muscle activity in the form of electric impulses spawned by muscle fibers. And could be interesting to measure emotional expressions, to pleasant or unpleasant stimuli. But as I said already, there are some tools that are, from my personal viewpoint, they're more efficient, like those emotional recognition software, because here you see all the number of electrodes that are measured. Those could be, maybe, 10 to 20. But having that by using technology, you can measure not only 20 individual parts in the human face, but more about 2,000. So the accuracy is breathtakingly better. Although you have the problem for sure that it can just be done like in this situation, like for example, recording a video and seeing somebody in front of a computer. But in fact, it's pretty similar. Like you just have more points in data. So quickly talking about what are advantages and disadvantages of the tools in terms of skin conductance. Okay, it's not very low cost. It's a little bit too much. It's low cost, but it's widely accessible and it's pretty easy to use. That's right. What are the disadvantages of using it? Habituation can occur. Habit is always very difficult to take care of. And sometimes it's really hard to predict what the measurement means. So we have done it in one major study. And reviewers, when we submitted this manuscript, were really punishing us, or still punishing us. So the manuscript is basically written and submitted the first time in 2013. That means 2014, 7 years ago. Still in the process of an A+ journal, but still reviewers are punishing us in terms of what do all those skin conductance really mean, and could you ensure that it's based on the stimulus that you took in the experiment. And as I said before, and this is sometimes a little bit difficult. In terms of electrocardiogram, also not that expensive, although pretty much widely accessible, and also important, it doesn't have that much of invasiveness. That's good. Interpretation of its findings has the same challenges like skin conductance. In terms of facial electrotomography, it's relatively inexpensive when you compare it to, for example, to fMRI. It's just a little bit intrusive, and you have it in many labs. In Innsbruck, we have it not in our lab, but in a different lab as well. Here, from my perspective, as I said, I would use more technological related tools like emotion recognition software that should be in the year 2021 more accurate and provide more information than just the regular tools. All right. Just quickly providing you some insights about the neuroimaging tools. This is fMRI. The insights are very interesting, and it's non-invasive and it reflects neural activity. That's great, and that's interesting. Works by using an fMRI scanner. And it measures neural activity in brain sections. It's pretty crazy, but that's the way it would look like. And I know some of my colleagues that are using it. So and that we had that topic where somebody was, isn't it a biology topic? No, not necessarily. This is a so-called interface or intersection topic where researchers from both perspectives meet, and we have more and more researchers that have different backgrounds, like not the pure technical guy, even or the pure social guy. Like, for example, the topic that you study is an interface topic. Information system is not entirely computer science, and it's not entirely business management. We have both perspectives come together and combined. And the same you have in terms of neural studies. You have neuroscientists that have a strong technological background that are doing such studies. So there are some people out there. But they have the major challenge. If you see all that, like you have a stimulus and then you see, for example, this. Interpretation of the findings is that what makes it there very much difficult. So people want to know, what does that mean? And what can we know based on that? So this is where those people are very much struggled, and where such studies are a little bit difficult in some ways. Okay, I would skip EEG and MEG. Problem is for all of those, and they are very, very expensive. There's some additional very methodological aspects that I don't want to go into detail. fMRI is great, is non-invasive, and you can greatly compare across studies. But problem is the whole development, the whole setup is very difficult. EEG is not that accurate as fMRI, but it's cheaper. So the only positive aspect is you have the same aspects, but you can at least get some money back. And MEG problem is it even has a lower spatial resolution than EEG, and cost starts to get increasing, and the complexity of interpreting the results is huge. So this is just to provide you a whole impact about what neuro physiological tools in our information systems research are, but we focus on the psychophysiological tools. Because what already said, just what are positives about neurophysiological tools? Subjects cannot concisely manipulate their responses. Very important. And the good thing is that the data is more pure. In terms of also, it reduces common method bias. And when you discuss and work with Ronald, think about common method bias, and you will be surprised that you already know that. Common method bias means the following. In some survey studies, the aspect is then that people have to report at the very same time, for example, smartphone example again, what they think about the smartphone and how they use the smartphone. And the little bit of statistical magic, you try to combine both and infer some causal relationships between individuals' IT use or individuals' smartphone use and what they think about the smartphone. Problem is, when it happens at the very same time, it's basically not possible that people report both, because normally you would have to gather information about the endogenous variables, like, for example, individuals' behavior or the information system's use, and the exogenous variables, like, for example, predictors of such behavior, at different points of time. If you don't do that, you have a source called common method bias. And